The Mock is not joining a team, though. There he is. Chat, here we go. It is the final game of pool play in the road to 100,000 subscribers Invitational. There's $1,500 on the line for the EU portion. Drowley has already secured his spot as #1 on the gauntlet, which means somebody's going to have to get through him once they finally get there. Atow and Moxy are fighting for much better positions. In fact, I think they're fighting for guaranteed money. If they win this match, they'll be guaranteeing, I think, at least $100. But because of the game differential, I think Moxy may have to make sure he wins it by a healthy margin. He can't afford to just win it in game 5. He has to win it with a little bit of breathing room based on how his previous games have gone. But for the most part, the winner of this match likely finishing second and the loser likely finishing last in the pool. Of course, it'll be nice and simple if Atow happens to win, because then we don't have to go to any game differential tiebreakers. I don't think many people would have Moxy coming in here and not being able to pick up a win against these top players. But he always still has a chance to recover it, which we've seen before. People have been talking about this format. Has been played a few times. Most recently with 4 players it was done in the Rule 1v1 Invitational, but without the close qualifier gauntlet to add one more player to it. And I think Daniel might have gotten last in pool play and then gotten second overall or something, made a huge run, or maybe won it? I don't know. I think he won. Chat, it's been a very long stream. It's been, I think, a good 4 or 5 hours, even though the uptime might lie to you because the stream died somewhere in between. Atow, oh, was so close to getting a third. But I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up the name of the tournament, which is the Road to 100,000 Subscriber Invitational, because we are at 90,000 and ever rising, getting closer and closer. And if we do happen to get to 100,000 before the final YouTube video is uploaded, we will immediately run another tournament, a $3,001 tournament, because that is what chat decided that that's what they wanted as reward. So if you've been watching the channel and haven't subscribed yet, now would be the time to get us ever closer. We also have a North American version of the tournament coming up after this EU portion will end tomorrow. This is the final game being played, or final match, I should say, being played today. But then we're straight into the full gauntlet tomorrow. Moxy able to tie up this game after the Atow early starts, and now has himself another possession. Seemed to be worried about an Atow challenge. Now flick will be a goal. 3 straight for Moxy, and he has the lead. We were doing a little bit of speculation on potential tiebreakers if Moxy were to win 3-1. I think game differential, all of Atow, Moxy, and Nas finish at -2. So the standard would be, and although I was just hoping, no really tough tiebreakers would have been nice, but Atow not able to finish this. Moxy sends it high. The tiebreakers would be game differential, which would not break their ties, then head-to-head, because they're all tied. I think there's no head-to-head tiebreaker between them. It would be another 3-way tie. Then into game differential between matches played only between them, not including Drowley, who is going to finish at the top. And I think that will end up breaking the ties. And if it does break a tie, you go back to the original set of tiebreakers, I believe, with the remaining people who might still be tied. So, one's in chat to hear Feer's English accent. Guys, I already speak English, therefore it's an English accent, right? Atow deadly on the wall to air dribble as he front flips into the clean landing in order to start it. Moxy is able to deny the bottom right corner shot, but Atow's not afraid to play physical. Neither one of these guys are. And Atow will do it here in order to tie the game. One last touch on the ball. And a bump directly into the nose of Moxy's car. I think people have been asking about Zen a bunch. I'm assuming is kept watch partying. He just puts Zen in the title. So then we have to just deal with a lot of Zen questions. Atow gonna backflip to the moon as Moxy dives to try and take it away and has to avoid the bump play as well. Moxy, low 50. This one gonna get pinched up to the ceiling. Atow able to retake the lead late in the game. It was all Moxy during the middle minutes, despite Atow's early surgence. Now, 45 seconds. Moxy with a decent chance to the ceiling. Has the reset through the air. What a catch. A powerful finish will get him the tie game with 40 seconds left to go. And you can see him on the left side of the ball from Atow's perspective. It seems like he's going to shoot near post, and then he dashes hard back to the other side and puts the ball completely the other way. Atow now delayed kickoff, denied the immediate goal. And him and Moxy both low on boost. Moxy will take a trip to the side wall. Another chance to make a nice play off the ceiling. Atow only faked the ceiling challenge for a moment and then went down to the ground and maybe caught Moxy off guard because Moxy stopped going for anything. He then just tried to take the ball straight to the ground and allows Atow a pretty easy steal and a 6-5 lead with 18 seconds left to go. Moxy, air dribble 50. Atow stops it, rolls it away. Moxy will be able to chip it up before 0 seconds, but he tried to wait way too long to do it. Atow dunks him again and wins game number 1. Game number 2. Moxy has not been getting blown out by any means in these matches. He's played well, but has yet to close out enough games to come away with a win. I'm trying to remember, we didn't know at the time when he was playing Drally, but that is certainly his most impressive series so far. And he actually was up 2-1 in that one before Drally took the win and went on to beat everyone else in the pool. Atow now to the ceiling. Can he get the angle down? Wait, what a perfect save from Moxy. I guess not quite perfect. If it was a little bit harder, it'd be perfect because it would have just went straight into the net. But it actually ended up being in a bit of a no man's land zone of power where it couldn't stick with it because it was too strong and it wasn't quite strong enough to just straight up score. Moxy. Dribble from the back wall at ceiling height. Atow waiting on the ground patiently and is rewarded as Moxy unable to go the distance, but he'll follow up quickly with his second goal either way. Half flipping to steal the corner boost and booming the ball on the first touch after Atow sent it into the corner and right back to Moxy. Atow now trying to get his scoring going in this second game. But Moxy floats defensively through the air before Atow's dribble can really get going. And then Moxy actually able to steal the midfield boost as well. So another possession in his favor. Atow shadowing and trying to decide whether or not he's going to creep out to challenge Moxy. finds himself turned sideways, and right when he decided he was going to D-challenge, Moxy pops it over him. Moxy slow roll. Now playing on 0 boost, Atow will take it away. Moxy coming off of getting swept by Nas, which is interesting because Atow, coming off getting swept by Drally, had a nice recovery. And so did Nas as well, right? Nas got swept by Drally, or at least lost, and came back and had a good performance. It seems like my worry about forcing players to play after series losses, you know, thinking that they might snowball, has proven to be not something to worry about, as players have actually played better after their loss. We'll see if that'll be the case for Moxy. He's certainly playing better after his game loss, because he's up 5-0 now as we approach halfway through game number 2. Moxy able to stop this kickoff goal at first to keep his clean slate, but it won't last forever, as it takes half the game for Atow to do it, but he does get on the board. Moxy dunked on his first carry setup. Looked like he was trying to set it up again, and Atow wanted to stick around and stay close on the play. Moxy has had enough of that. He says, get away, back off. I will boom power shots if you continue to chase me down. 6-1, and quite the bounce back from Moxy here. Atow not giving up, though. He is under the belief that once he gets his offense going, he can bring it all the way back. Doesn't hurt to score quickly off this kickoff. Atow delay kickoff. Tried to bump Moxy as he looked to recover. Oh, for a second there, I thought Moxy was going to pinch. When players go for a pinch, they often pause at that distance from the wall and then drive back in, but Moxy did just go wall to air dribble. Atow out of position, and we'll see. Yeah, I was gonna say, I had a feeling that that could maybe be the mark of next. Whoops, I accidentally unpaused. And there it is. Game number 2 gonna go to Moxy. We'll be tied up, headed to game 3. Game number 3. Atow certainly isn't playing with these camera settings, right? Okay, yeah, because Moxy looks like he has them too when I switch to his POV. Okay, well, actually, Atow is still on some weird camera settings. Okay, there they go. Wave dash kickoff for Atow. Couldn't get his hook shot. Normally Moxy's the one doing that same setup, doing a wave dash kickoff against someone going standard. But it'll be Atow who takes the early lead in game number 3. Atow, wall to air dribble, leans back into a reset, and we saw Moxy go out 6 goals to 1, I think, early in game number 2. Are we in store for another surgence, but this time from Atow? Moxy to break up the scoring. The backflip is going to be saved. Atow has a boost advantage, but he allows Moxy to get a clean catch. And Moxy's just too good with the flicks. Atow says, you can have the boost, I'll try and get the goal, but Moxy was able to get back in time, used up all that boost to send a soaring ball over the top of the net. We are now in a brief ring around the rosy, which happens sometimes in 1v1. It's going to continue counterclockwise and still hasn't really fully ended here. I would say it's still going as the ball continues around the map counterclockwise. Moxy really not preventing it either. This is the final moment. There, the ball finally stopped going counterclockwise. Atow does make the save on the brave mix-up from Moxy, and oh my goodness, it's not even close. Moxy has the save and the counter. Potentially needs to slow down, and he will get it. Wow. About as close as it gets. We watched it from Atow POV, which did not show which pixels may have not been in the goal. But it looked like most of them were in. (3-2) lead for Atow as he gets out around Moxy's pre-jump and gets around the ball to make sure it stays on target. Atow flick too close to the defender to get any sort of separation. Moxy forced Atow to make the crossbar pinch save. Now trying to keep him pinned back. Atow did not grab the midfield boost, so get demoed. Ball is far enough out that Atow can respawn and make a play, and he actually does. Moxy tried to mix it up, go slow, see if he can get Atow to fly past or make a bad 50, but Atow did well. Great contact on the ball and now has control of his own and will flick for a 3-goal lead. Two minutes left to go. Atow wave dash kickoff to Moxy standard. Not something I would have expected to see. I would have almost thought the opposite would be happening all game. Little zap dash recovery off the curve from Atow to retreat on 0 boost. Now another zap dash on 0. Maybe helps him win the race. Now he's just dashing for fun, it feels like. He'll just try and place top shelf. And he does not score, but he does maybe maintain possession. It's hard to say here. Moxy is doing his best to get right back involved in the play. A little undercut, then a pass out to Atow, who is slow playing it. And now a demo. Going to cause a full reset here. What does Atow want to set up when he has all the time in the world? Looks like he's thinking about a sidewall dribble, but instead chips it in because he sees Moxy going to the ceiling and catches him out of position. I talked about it earlier. Your defenders probably won't give you that much faith as Moxy did to Atow, knowing that he could not let him go to a sidewall dribble. So a simple chip off the wall will be enough. Atow, interesting shot. I think he got an additional reset after the flip. We saw him get multiple resets on the ball earlier today. Moxy not out of this one with 42 seconds. A similar deficit was forfeited by Atow, and yet I would tell you that it made sense. It's not like it was necessarily terribly early. Moxy not giving up in this one, though. Really can't afford to, it feels like. Atow handling Moxy on low boost around his nets. Now going for a double and hits it. I think it might have been a triple. One more finish. Moxy's willing to go next, but that's not going to get him out of this replay playing. As Atow puts the musty on the back wall, and it's just perfectly crossbar down and in. Game number 3, going to Atow. Game 4. Atow looking to try and put himself in the second position in the gauntlet behind Drowley. He could do so with a Game 4 win over Moxy. Moxy looking like he's getting closer and closer to having to clutch up in the gauntlet if he wants to make it into the prize. Of course, winner of this match, like I said before, I believe guaranteed at minimum $100, assuming they lose their gauntlet game, but could be as much as 1,000 if they fight their way to first. Demo from Atow on to Moxy, and he will tap it nice and slow to waste precious seconds as he takes a 2-0 lead. Moxy off the side wall. Gonna get the scoring going for him before too big of a deficit gets built up. Moxy at ceiling heights. Decides to take it all the way to the ground. Atow has that save. Atow not going to take this into the corner. We often see players do from this position. Instead, we'll bounce it infield. But not necessarily to play quickly. I thought for a second he was maybe just going to try and keep Moxy on low boost out of position, but he took his sweet time setting it up. But a challenge to steal the ball away from Moxy, who's trying to pass to himself off the side wall. It will not work. 3-1 for Atow. With 3:40 left to go. Atow. Air dribble resets. Make it 4-1. Atow, oh, it's a missed wave dash. Moxy did his best to try and recover, but too little, too late. Once Atow has started the dribble sequence. People saying that it's chalked for France, even if Moxy does end up at the bottom of the gauntlets. He does have Vatira there, a fellow Frenchman, so at least one French player would advance. Not completely over for France. Atow headed to the ceiling to get a reset. Has to go to the back wall. My goodness, Atow. I was about to explain how a shot from this position isn't scoreable. There's nothing you could do to make it work, but Atow found a way to make it work and is able to double it in with low boost using his flip. Has a 5-1 lead against Moxy. Moxy, interception, shouldn't be too tough to get around this ball. Definitely still in this one. He keeps watching goal replays as he maybe continues to try and shake off the mental. sending one on target. What was his save from Moxy? I mean, he found himself past the ball. He needs to save it into the corner. Definitely could have been better than what he decided to do. But he ends up just tapping it straight out to Atow, which is guaranteed to be scored again right away. Atow half lip on the kickoff. Moxy cannot get the ball to the net in time. And another backflip flick in order to get Moxy to miss. This double, wow! I keep being surprised at the way Atow finds the angle. It's going to be a GG's from Moxy. It doesn't seem like there's an angle available, especially with how much he rushed it. I felt like there's an angle if he doesn't go that fast. If he takes longer to get to the ball, then maybe he could do it, but he just speeds there. And now we're asking him for the pogo. He says no problem. He has 2 minutes and 19 seconds to hit a nice one. He can pogo into plan B. Wait, interesting. I think is what he's trying to say. Is he pogos behind the ball and then pogos the pogo shot, as people often call the plan B. Look at him go! Nice. A great celebration from Atow. A clean double pogo. You love to see it. And we will, of course, not make him have to try again. That was perfection. GG's. It's going to be Atow in seconds, with Drally at the top, Nass in third, and Moxy starting at the bottom of our gauntlet.